If I could go back, I'd never enter the void. While driving through the Galmud wilderness, he was on his regular route, but suddenly veered onto an unknown path and then went completely off the grid. 2 months later, his car was found near an abandoned mine. Strangely, all the external cameras had been deliberately covered. At night, a stranger used a bedsheet to tightly cover the windshield. Yet there was still gas, food, and his belongings were untouched. How could a living person just vanish into thin air? Flashback to August 2025. Mr. Zhong, 36, planned to drive from Nyanki, Tibet, back to Yulin, Guangxi. He worked in e-commerce and had lived in Tibet for about a year. He was passionate about road trips. Having some free time, he planned a scenic route through Tibet and Qinghai. He shared his itinerary with his family before leaving. On August 21st, Mr. Zhong set off from Nyanki in a white VW La Vida. He made it through Lhasa, and on the evening of August 26th, arrived safely in Galmud. After checking into a hotel, he called his family to say he arrived. He mentioned he'd be exploring Qinghai the next day, visiting Wuji Longfeng Temple and the Queen Mother's Yaoqi Pool. The entire conversation seemed completely normal. But on the 27th, after visiting the Wuji Temple, while heading toward the Yaoqi Pool, a standard drive that should have taken about an hour turned into a 2-hour detour. He veered off twice into remote, winding dirt paths. During that time, he got out and inspected the car, as if changing plans or looking for a shortcut. At 4:51 p.m., while driving west toward the Yaoqi Pool, he turned onto another secluded trail toward Tola Gully, heading deep into the uninhabited desert. Less than 5 minutes later, his car lost traction on a slope and got stuck. He tried multiple times to break free, but failed, eventually cutting the engine. Right after, the dashcam shut off, and he vanished without a trace. Initially, his family couldn't reach him, but assumed it was just poor cell service. They didn't think much of it at first. It wasn't until the third day, August 30th, that they grew worried and called police. The police traced his phone signal and discovered that on August 29th, at 9:17 a.m., his phone briefly pinged cell towers near the Wuji Temple. But strangely, during that brief window, Mr. Zhong never messaged his family or called for help. For over 2 months, search teams combed the area around the signal tower, using family coordinates to conduct a massive sweep. But searching this vast wasteland was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Finally, on November 1st, 72 days after his disappearance, rescuers spotted his white sedan about 50 kilometers from Yaoqi Pool, tucked away in a remote valley of Tola Gully. They located Mr. Zhong's white car. Nearby sat an abandoned jade mine. The vehicle showed no external damage. There were no signs of a struggle, and his luggage was intact. Only his phone, backpack, and laptop were missing. The initial theory was that after getting stuck, Mr. Zhong grabbed his essentials and set out on foot for help. Yet inexplicably, 2 days after abandoning the car, when his phone briefly found a signal, he made no emergency calls. The car was left unlocked with the keys inside, suggesting a frantic departure. What was Mr. Zhong rushing toward? Then, even more bizarre clues emerged. Investigators found that all exterior cameras were covered with red tape, and a bedsheet had been draped over the front windshield. This was clearly not done by Mr. Zhong. Dashcam records showed that on September 20th at 10:48 p.m., the camera briefly triggered, capturing a stranger in black gloves. The figure meticulously draped the sheet over the glass, carefully avoiding the camera lens before melting back into the dark. What was this person's motive? If it was robbery, why was the car left alone and nothing stolen? Instead of revealing the truth, these eerie details only made the entire incident more baffling. Mr. Zhong seemed to have vaporized, remaining missing for over 300 days. To this day, no clues have surfaced. Every answer seems to have been silently swallowed by the barren sands of Tola Gully. The shifting desert wind erased his tracks, leaving no trace behind. We still hope that the truth will come to light one day. Until then, we urge all outdoor enthusiasts, never venture recklessly into these unforgiving, uninhabited lands.